All right, the SawStop's unboxed. Is it worth it? Is it everything they say it is? All right, I'm sure you all know, if you know anything about SawStop, it has a flesh detecting system on it. You can override it on the PCS model that I have, the 1.75 horsepower. You can override that, and I know you can override it on the contractor saw and the cabinet saw, the industrial cabinet saw. Awesome owner's manual. This thing is bound, and I mean colored. You can't get any better than that. You'll get 2 hand wheels and 2 handles, blade guard. You can also upgrade this to a dust collection or a floating blade guard, which is pretty cool. You'll get your registration card, which I keep your receipt and register it. You're going to need your serial number, your wrenches that you're going to need to change the blades and so forth, your adjustment knobs that will go inside your wheels. And you'll notice these are different sizes. So pay attention to your instructions, because one goes in one wheel and the other one goes in the other hand wheel. Say all the tools you need, but you know, I've seen other videos when I was researching buying this, and a lot of people have to use something else, a wrench or two. So, but they give you everything, and it's all color coded, and it's going to walk you straight through with the colors of what to use. You also get your tables, your wings. I've also bought the 36-inch fence system, rail assembly, T-Glide fence system, and the T-Glide advanced rip system, which are all components to go with this. I also bought the mobile base, and I'm glad I did. I have it on the mobile base now, and it's going to make it a lot easier to move if I need to move it. Hey, if y'all hadn't checked out goforwood.com yet, make sure you do. Me and my team has put together a website that is unbelievable. No more jumping site to site or app to app. It's called goforwood.com. That's G-O, the number 4, and wood.com. I also purchased, and I don't know if I mentioned it, an extra cartridge. It's very sensitive. Remember, if you have the safety feature turned on, you shouldn't be cutting treated lumber or wet lumber, or when it's raining outside, if your window or your garage door is open or your shop door is open, because what can happen is it'll trigger the safety feature on it, and next thing you know, you got to buy another one. All right, first step is you're going to take one of your hand wheels and you're going to take one of your handles, and you're simply going to just screw it in. All right, on the first step, we're going to use the blue and on this blister pack, and all we're going to do is take the set screws and the keys and put them on our control shaft, and we're going to be able to install this properly. So we're going to take the notch and set it over the key. Our next step is we're going to assemble the vacuum hose chute. So with that said, let's double check and make sure our ring clamp is tight. We want to make sure that's tight. You'll notice there's a little indentation key. Well, if you'll look down here at the hole, there's only one way it'll go in if you come around to the back. You see that little hole or that indentation? So that's the way it goes. It only will go one way, so your screws will line up. As we're installing the vacuum hose, it's a 4-inch vacuum hose, this is what we're going to be using. Now we're on the green to install that. So we're going to need the washers and the screws. That's all there is to it. Inside your motor cover package, this is what it's going to be. It's packed with your push stick, and it's a plastic one, so I would highly recommend you go ahead and get you a wood push stick. They're a whole lot safer. Plastic ones can shatter sometimes if you hit them just right, and even if you got your safety glasses on and your earplugs on and so forth, you can still get hurt. So I would say upgrade yourself to a wooden push stick. You can make it your own. Also, you get a basic miter gauge, and like I said, I've upgraded fence system on here and to a better miter gauge system. So this is what you got right here. We're going to use the yellow section next, and we're going to mount the motor cover. All right, had to take it out and redo it because I had it upside down. The L piece goes at the bottom. There's a little catch right here, hook to hold it. So make sure you follow your instructions, and then you'll just push it down into that, and it'll hold it tight that way, and it doesn't come up or down. It holds it just right. All you do to open it is push right here. There's a set of ribs. You push in, open it, push in to close. Next step is we're going to put the wings on. They come in 2 separate packages right here. Let's get those put on. We're going to use the purple section now to mount the wings. All right, this will be a lot easier with help. You can do it by yourself, but it'd be tough. All right, there's a chamfered strip that goes to the front to match the chamfered strip on the table. Got my son here. Say hey, Ty. Say peace. All right, we want to line that hole up right there, not the big one. A lot easier with a young buck. So you want to make sure when you put these lips on that that chamfered edge all lines up, and then that way you're good to go. Now we're going to put the switch box on. It goes under the left wing, and you're going to use the orange label under the blister pack. All right, let me show you something in the orange blister pack real quick. You got your keys too that you can bypass the saw and turn the saw off, so forth, to bypass the safety switch. So make sure you keep those if you ever want to bypass it. But put your screw on, then a bolt, then a lock washer, and then the washer, and we're going to bolt that switch up under the left wing. All right, there's a mounting bracket right here up under the left wing, and we're going to take this and make sure it's facing the front of the saw, and we're going to get it installed. Mounting the wrench and tool holders, it goes on the bottom down here. You'll see, let me get down here, you'll see there's 2 little slots and a screw hole that mounts to your tools. And that's pretty much it for it. All right, I jumped the gun a little bit, took the throat plate off. It just lifts right out. Arm right here that locks your writhing tooth in. So you'll just release it and take that out. Once you take the blade off, make sure your saw's unplugged. Please make sure it's unplugged. And I'm going to teach you from this step forward how to set the correct distance. If you'll look in there, adjustment there, and we have to keep that thing at 1/16 to 3/32 of an inch away from the blade is what we want to do. All right, what I want to show you, once you release that and take your writhing knife out, so you want your teeth running towards the front, and then you're going to take your washer back, and notice how it's got a lip on it. I don't know if you can see that or not, but it's allowed, the way it's designed is to compress, so you don't have to over tighten them. You're going to slide that back on. You're going to take your nut, make sure you don't drop it. Don't have to over tighten it. Take your spacer or a nickel, this came with the saw, and you're going to set it down inside and make sure that tooth is that thickness, so it should push that when it goes back. That way it's not touching. It's, like I said, 1/16 to 3/32. It's got 2 magnets on the back. You can just stick it right to the front of the saw. You can replace this if you don't want your cover. All right, there's holes right here that line up. You can set that in there over your blade. By the way, I like how they designed this right here. Instead of just one big one that comes up, it's got several little slots, but you're going to line that up over your blade, and then you're going to just tighten down that clamp once you get it lined up. Then you're going to take your throat plate, slide it back in, push your handle down, and it's locked. And notice there's first time I've seen this. There's not a lot of gap here like on a lot of saws. So that is how you switch a blade. Is your tool holder right there. You can put your wrenches on there and hold them up and you're good to go, and you won't lose them, so don't lose them. Y'all look at that mess back there. I'm putting a big saw together. So I'm gonna put the 36-inch T-Glide system together and just walk you through it as I do it. We're gonna take this first one though, and I'm gonna go ahead and tell you, just hand tighten that bolt. Instructions are amazing. You got it for the table too. So blue is for the table, red is for the T-Glide system. All right, step one, take your front rail and you're gonna line up, depending on the rail system you have, with the holes that are on your table saw. And you're gonna just hand tighten these, and that's all you're gonna do at this point. Don't do any more than hand tighten them at this point. All right, let's rinse and repeat and do the same thing on the back rail. You'll notice the L's go out on your rails, and that's all it is. Now let's unbox the 36-inch extension table. Let's see what's in the box. These are your table supports. Let me show you one a little bit clearer here. That's what it looks like, and that's going to support your table while you're installing it. Next, let's look at the blister pack and all of the things we're going to need to install the table. All right, these are your legs that will support the table. With the table, I was a little disappointed that it was wood and not some type of aluminum, especially for what you pay for the saw. But look at that little bracket with the circle right there. That is going to get attached to the table, and then this little set screw here will adjust the height of the table so you can get it all just right and level. All right, step 5, we're going to take our leg support brackets. Notice that little lip right there. The bracket is going to attach into there, and then you'll notice we have a lip for the table to set on, and that's crucial. So make sure you get that right, and you're going to just tighten these up. Go ahead and tighten them up with a bolt and a lock screw, and you'll be good to go. Rinse and repeat for the opposite side, and you'll have both leg supports attached at this point. You're going to tighten them up and get them square. All right, now we're going to slide our table in, and remember the little set screw there, or adjustment screw. You're going to slide it under. There's a little bracket under there so that it adjusts the table up and down to be flush with your wings on your tabletop. There it is again, right there. You'll be able to get under here, and I'm adjusting it just slightly to lift it up so it's flush with the top of the table. Don't have to be perfect here. You're just getting it close at this point. All right, get your proper bolt from your blister pack, and you're going to attach the table to the side rails, and these are just hand tightened. Now rinse and repeat and do the same thing on the back rail, hand tightened. Now don't miss a step like I did here. You need to put your nut on here so you can lock your adjustment pegs down, and I had to take them back off, so make sure you don't make that same mistake, and you're going to screw them all the way in. All right, step 8. Don't make a mistake here. The leg actually bolts to the table itself, so make sure you find the correct hole on the table and the leg itself, and push the bolt with the lock washer and nut all the way through and tighten this down. You can go ahead and tighten this one all the way down. All right, let me give you a better shot of what I was talking about with the leg and the table. Here you'll see me slide that bolt through the top of the table, and then the top hole is where we're going to attach our nut and lock washer to. Don't over tighten this just yet, because you want to be able to line up your holes in your bracket. Then you're going to get your other bolts and push them through with the nut and lock washer, and you can go ahead at this point tighten them completely down once you have everything lined up. All right, step 11. Let's grab our fence glide, is what I call it, and attach it to our front rail. Now your 12-inch ruler will go on the left, and your longer ruler will go on the right, and you're going to grab the proper bolts and line up your holes like I'm doing here and attach it to the front rail. You do not want to do anything but hand tighten these, because we're going to have to make some adjustments to make sure our fence slides and measures properly. Now there's 8 or 9 bolts, I believe it's 9 bolts, and you're going to hand tighten these all the way down your fence glide tube, and that's pretty much it. What I'm showing you here is make sure your fence glide tube is pushed all the way out, because that's going to be a crucial point of our adjustment, and that's why we're only hand tightening these at the moment. Now let's grab our fence, and we're going to install the fence handle, and it basically just screws right in. There's nothing hard about that. All right, take 2 business cards or a credit card and slide them in the back to create the exact gap. And you're going to line that up, and then you're going to hand tighten that bottom one just a little bit more so you can adjust it. Man, that thing slides smooth. All right, we're going to bring it to the opposite end and repeat what we did at the other end with the 2 business cards I've got. And we're going to tighten down the bolt that's under it, and then we can start to really tighten it down and get everything just right and make sure everything is aligned perfectly. All right, as I tighten these down, I want to show you something with the fence. Smooth as butter. That thing slides really smooth. And as I bring it back right here, I want you to take note that make sure it doesn't clip or click when you slide it from the cast iron table to the extension table. You want to make sure that that table adjustment screw up under your extension table is properly aligned and everything is level across the top. All right, let me show you how to turn it on. We're going to turn it on with the push button in, and we're going to wait for our green and red lights to flash, and then when that red light goes off, you're good to start, and you can pull your switch out and the saw will start. And all you have to do to turn it off is push the button back in and the saw is off. What I want to do here is guarantee my fence measurement is accurate. So I'm going to check it with a tape measure and see, and it's dead on. All right, I've got to make a couple of boot jacks for Etsy, so I'm going to test it out. I'm cutting this piece of pine right here, and we're going to see how well it is. And notice I've got a wooden push stick, and that thing cuts as smooth as butter, man. Very nice. Loving this saw so far. Let's take this piece of walnut, and I need to just barely shave some off the edge, and I want to see how straight the saw cuts, and it did an absolute perfect job. You're gonna love this saw. It's gonna be a game changer. Just wanted to show you how easy it was to move. You just pump your jack up, it lifts the saw off the floor, and you just roll it to where you want to go, and it's that easy. Really excited about the SawStop. I think it's going to be a huge upgrade from a shop. Going to be able to get a lot better rip cuts. Just remember, check out SawStop. Pretty good company. They didn't send me this. I bought it on my own. Wish they'd send it to me. But you know what? I'm going to get cleaning up the shop. Don't forget, goforwood.com. And as I always say, and don't ever forget, Jesus loves you.